There are places that carry silence and tenderness, even when they seem the most ordinary. The kitchen is one of those places. There, the kettle sings, morning light streams through the window, hands move with the memory of care. It's a space of sustenance and encounters. It's a territory of small gestures that hold the home together. When we pause to look, we see that routine can be a thread of sacred things: a broken bread, a washed bowl, salt spilled with intention. On this floor of tiles and scents, I invite you to see a possible altar. It's as simple as it is real. Imagine an altar that doesn't need to be carved from stone. It doesn't require golden instruments. It fits on the counter and in the palm of your hand. It could be a corner where you place a cherished object, a candle, a glass of water, or a small bowl of salt. It's not about ostentation. It's about intention, the act of setting aside a place to bless the food, to offer gratitude, to ask for protection for the day. These small signs, repeated with presence, turn the ordinary into a portal. The portal reminds us that the divine draws near in simple things. Before any elaborate ritual, there's an intimate decision. Look at the day with eyes of presence. When preparing coffee, stirring soup, or setting bread on the table, make a short pause. Close your eyes. Breathe. Say a word of thanks. It doesn't need to be scholarly prayer or a rehearsed phrase. It can be a murmur like, "May there be peace here," or "May this food strengthen me to serve." What makes the gesture sacred is attention. It's the intention that it becomes a blessing for you and others. The kitchen altar practice rests on simple gestures. They cross cultures and hearts. Sharing, thanking, blessing. When you break bread and divide it, when you offer a glass of water with a smile, you're forming a domestic liturgy. It shapes the flavor of relationships. The table is a place of presence and reconciliation. The simple act of sitting together and eating transforms hearts. It rebuilds bonds. So, the kitchen stops being just a place of work. It becomes a temple of the everyday. There, words of care are prayed among pots and spoons. We don't always know what to say or how to start. Sometimes anxiety comes early. The task list is tight. The heart seems to close. It's in these moments that a simple gesture has power. Choose a short word. Peace, grace, mercy. Repeat it before setting food on the table. Place your hand on the food for a second. Visualize someone who needs comfort. This conscious touch doesn't need to be public. It can be solitary and secret. The important thing is that you're there, intentionally offering a blessing to the day through your hands. If you think spiritual rituals demand formality, allow yourself the lightness of this practice. There's no definitive manual. What works for one home may differ for another. For some, lighting a candle is enough. For others, writing a request on paper and placing it near the salt jar makes sense. What's fundamental is coherence between the gesture and the heart. When the practice comes from a genuine desire to bless the right blooms, it nourishes something deeper than mere repetition. Setting up a small kitchen altar can be an exercise in creativity and affectionate memory. Use objects that carry stories. An inherited glass, a small tray, a spoon that recalls a grandmother, a box of dried herbs. These elements act as anchors. When you touch them, you remember who loved you, who taught you to cook, who fed you with words. Memory turns the gesture into prayer. Prayer into gratitude. In little time, the corner you've prepared will radiate calm to those who pass by. The manual practices of the kitchen have rhythm and attention. Washing a salad, kneading dough, putting a pot on the fire. In these bodily repetitive movements, the mind finds space for short prayers, for simple petitions, for surrendering fears. While stirring the stew, imagine the warmth of care enveloping those who depend on you. This way of praying with hands integrates body, soul, and daily life. It brings a spirituality that doesn't demand absolute silence, just conscious presence. When the family gathers at that counter or small table, something subtle and powerful happens. The encounter. No long speech is needed to prepare ground for connection. Just the gesture of inviting, sharing bread, thanking for the food. The table becomes a school of love. There, we learn to listen, to yield, to forgive. Each shared portion is also an offering of care, a way to say, "You matter." When this repeats, the home turns into community. The sacred circulates among the cups. The water we use in the kitchen can receive intention too. Before watering plants, cooking, or washing, a minute's pause to ask for healing or clarity can change the day's quality. It's not superstition. It's attention cast on the element that sustains us. Water passing through hands can carry a word of hope, a blessing released into the domestic wind. This small habit reminds us that even what seems common can be a vehicle of grace. When we become aware of its purpose, before sitting, a simple and deep practice, give thanks. Saying thank you softly or just in thought activates an inner movement. It rebuilds our perception of what we have. Gratitude is a key that opens doors to see possibilities, to recognize sustenance and presence. When it becomes habit before each meal, there's a repositioning of the heart. It alters relationships and choices. The table becomes a place of recognition. The day starts with a tone of blessing that echoes farther. When you decide to turn the kitchen into an altar, propose a small morning ritual to yourself. For a few minutes, set the table. Light a candle. Place a bowl of salt or fruit. Breathe deeply. Pronounce a word or short phrase that defines your intention for the day. Make it a reminder to choose peace amid turmoil, generosity amid selfishness, availability amid fatigue. These minutes are seeds. By repeating them, you'll see a harvest of calm and meaning in the hours that follow. If right now you feel a desire for a word that speaks directly to your heart, for someone to pray with you over what weighs most, I invite you tenderly. There's a personalized, free prayer available. It's made to touch your pains and hopes. If you want, the link is below in the description. It's a simple gesture that connects your cry to a prayer thought for you. It's not advertising. It's like offering a hand on this path, a moment of attention so you don't walk alone. I'll be right back. We continue together with practices that can transform the home. After this brief invitation, I continue with practical ideas. Involve the whole house in this culture of blessings. Engage children with small, sacred tasks. Leave a note of gratitude on the fruit bowl. Choose music to accompany the meal. Set an extra spoon as a gesture of remembrance for those far away. Let each one have a role. The tiny altar becomes a center of affective education. Domestic spirituality is learned in practice, in repetition, in the affection with which each action is done. When tensions arrive, the kitchen can also be a place of reconciliation. A therapeutic gesture is preparing something simple together, like bread or tea. Allow conversations to flow with the steam. The manual task lowers defenses. It opens space for sincere words. I don't promise instant solutions, but I guarantee that contact with body and food softens. It lowers the volume of accusation. It allows listening with more calm. The kitchen altar becomes an instrument of relational healing. There are daily pains that find welcome in this home corner. A difficult news, a loss, a deferred dream. Let the altar be the place where you put what needs healing. Write on a small paper what weighs. Leave it near the candle while preparing something warm. You don't need to expose everything to everyone. Just recognize the wound and offer it. Even in silence, the act of surrendering is itself the start of transformation, a way not to carry the burden alone. Joy also asks for an altar. Celebrate small victories with a symbolic gesture. Toast with a glass of juice. Light the candle. Sing a song. Think aloud. By honoring these moments, we teach the heart to recognize grace. Celebrating in the kitchen creates an economy of affectionate memory. The day's beginnings become festivals of hope. The home preserves a chronicle of discreet blessings. Thus, the spirit strengthens to face the rest of life. If you seek words to say without feeling insecure, here are some short phrases. They serve as bridges. May this food strengthen our bodies, and make us generous. May peace dwell in this home. May the day be kind and merciful. Saying names is powerful too. When blessing the food, name a person who needs healing or a desire you have. These words aren't magic formulas, they're acts of faith. They direct attention. They shape the day in new light. The practice of silence is as important as speech. While preparing food, reserve a minute without words. Just listen to the pot's sound and your breath. Silence within action lets intuition speak louder. It makes the presence of what is greater noticeable. We don't need to fill every space with words. In the kitchen, silence seasoned by attention is a prayer that acts without noise. It opens doors where there was only haste before. There's an ancient gesture that can be reinvented. Blessing with hands. By placing your hand on the bread, the plate, or even on someone's forehead at the table, you seal an intention of care. It's not an imposing rite. It's concrete affection. Skin warms. Contact reminds us we're not alone. Do it with consent, with tenderness, like offering shelter. In homes where touch is rare, this practice has power to restore affection. Children's presence in altar routines is formative. Let them choose a word of gratitude. Let them share something good from the day, or place something simple in the offering bowl. This educational training generates spiritual memory. They grow understanding the home as territory of care. The everyday is bridged to generosity. In little time, children anticipate the gesture. They insist on lighting the candle or choosing music. The home fills with little apprentice priests. Adding salt to food can be a symbol of preservation and flavor. When sprinkling a pinch with intention, imagine sealing protection over what you eat, over who will eat. This image is powerful. Salt that brings flavor also reminds us to keep what is good. Don't turn the gesture into superstition. Use it as metaphor to remember caring for and protecting relationships and the home's sustenance. With each pinch, renew the desire for zeal. Sharing bread is an everyday sacrament gesture. In dividing, we offer food and welcome. No liturgical erudition is needed to recognize that sharing bread is an act of love. Make it a moment of presence. Look into the eyes of those at the table. Hear a brief word from each. Let the simple act of eating together be a vehicle of communion. The table gathers what the world often tries to separate. Changing habits is an exercise in patience. If today you've never set aside a corner to pray or bless, start small. Choose just one meal of the day to try. Maybe Monday breakfast or Friday dinner. For 7 days, repeat the gesture. Simple constancy builds path. Small routines make inner roads. Observe without haste. The changes, maybe a softening mood. A word of affection returning home. A calm in small conflicts. I invite you to a practical experience for a week. Before each meal, do this simple movement. Breathe deeply. Thank softly for what you have. Place your hand on the food. Pronounce a short blessing for the family. Mentally note the small changes. Maybe conversations shift. Maybe patience grows. Maybe hunger for affection lessens. If midway through this journey you want a personalized prayer to guide the process, remember there's a free one thought for your moment. The link is in the description if you wish. As you persevere in the practice, you'll notice the kitchen holds sacred stories. Laughter, forgiveness, tales, tears. These stories nourish the home as much as physical food. Value the small narratives. Share them. Name moments of gratitude. Share testimonies with those who live with you. Collective memory strengthens the home's identity. It turns the kitchen into a place where trust and courage are built to face challenges. For those carrying guilt or shame, the altar is a safe space for restarts. Bring a word of forgiveness to the counter. Repeat it softly while organizing the dishes. The simple gesture of putting things in place can be a metaphor for reorganizing the heart. Don't minimize your mistakes. Don't dwell on them. Offer them. Ask forgiveness when needed. Commit to concrete gestures of repair. The kitchen, by its practicality, is fertile ground for real restarts. When persistent pain is present, illness, grief, Job lost domestic rituals bring structure. Keeping meal times, preparing something nutritious, sharing even without desire can be an act of fidelity to life. Don't pressure yourself with grand prayers. Allow small invocations full of honesty. The blessing on the counter is also an invitation for community to draw near, to cook for you, to bring a dish, a word, a gesture of solidarity that makes faith concrete. Praying for others while cooking expands our field of care. Reserve space on the altar for names, intentionally. It could be a note with names of neighbors, colleagues, people who've crossed your path and need healing. While stirring the food, pray for those lives. It's a simple way to turn routine into active intercession. It reminds us our personal sustenance happens in network. The table is also a place of sharing for those far away. If you feel ready for a further step, consider a weekly commitment. A small gathering of prayer around the table. Each brings a request and a gratitude. It doesn't need to be elaborate. It can start with 15 minutes before the main meal. Over time, this gathering shapes a mirror of the home. What is shared at the table echoes in daily life. It molds choices and priorities with more empathy and care. Now I speak to your hope for continuity. If you feel this path needs support, there's a place to walk in community. Beyond the free, personalized prayer, there's a prayer community where people gather to intercede, share, and grow in solidarity. With contribution as your heart leads, the invitation is to find belonging and companionship there. The link is below in the description. For those who want to deepen this step, this community is a space of sharing and care. If it's your time, you'll be welcome. Prepare now for a small prayer to close our time together. It blesses the day that begins. Gently place one hand on your heart and another on the food, or just clasp your hands in front of your chest. Breathe deeply twice. Feel your body and breath. Bodily presence helps anchor the prayer. If you prefer, light a candle, or look out the window and see light as a sign of hope. We're ready to invoke protection, provision, and peace. Loving Father, God who cares for small things and great silences, welcome now this home, this table, this bread, and this water. May your presence rest on every corner of the house. May peace, provision, and courage circulate among those who dwell here. Give our hands wisdom to nourish not just the body, but also the other's heart. May no selfish desire obscure the table. May sharing become habit. May generosity be the law of the home. Lord, bless the works of this house. Bless the sweat that prepares food. Bless the creativity that turns little into sustenance. Heal the wounds hidden behind routines. Breathe reconciliation where there's coldness. Kindle compassion in the simplest gestures. May each meal be a reminder of care. May each glass of water wash away fears. May it leave thirst for love. May divided bread be a sacrament of communion. May the table be a temple of presence. God of mercy, I extend in prayer the names you carry in your heart now. I entrust to you each anguish, each hope, each need. May your breath of peace reach those who cry without consolation. May your provision meet those lacking bread. May your healing visit those suffering in body or spirit. Give strength to the weary, justice to the oppressed, joy to those feeling the day's weight. May no pain be alone on this path. May hands extend to hold and accompany. May the spirit of gratitude bloom in this home. May the simple habit of thanking transform ways of seeing and acting. Where there's division, plant reconciliation. Where there's fear, plant courage. Where there's scarcity, plant generosity. Renew, Lord, hope in small things, for in them life finds flavor. Bless the hands that cook. Bless the silence of those who listen. Bless the presence of those who serve without seeking recognition. I also ask for protection. May peace dwell at the entrance and exit of this house. May angels accompany steps. May no accident reach. May relationships be guarded from malice. May divine light surround the home and ward off all oppression. May the blessing be like an invisible mantle covering the floor, walls, and each resident's heart. May trust in better days renew each morning. Lord, bless the foods on the table and those yet to be prepared this week. May they bring health, vigor, and joy. May they be instruments of encounter and sharing. Teach us to divide what we have with generosity, to welcome those hungry in body and spirit, to make the table a place of love's policies. Give us sensitivity to recognize when someone needs more than a physical meal. Bless also the hands that care for the home. May their gestures not be invisible or undervalued. May those who cook receive recognition. May those who clean receive rest. May domestic labor be seen as sacred service. Give rest to the tired body and joy to hearts that serve. May the community around this home know how to share burdens and celebrate small victories. May joy renew in this house with each dawn. May laughter become music spreading through corridors. May conversations become bridges, not walls. May the grace of forgiving be cultivated like aromatic herb in the home's garden. And when night comes, may there be silence of restoration, protection over sleep, dreams of hope for tomorrow. Finally, I consecrate this domestic altar, small and humble, in the name of sustaining love. May it be constant reminder that all things, even the simplest, can lead us to the sacred. May the practice of blessing the day through everyday gestures transform attitudes, heal relationships, draw hearts closer. Go in peace. Carry this blessing to each task, each conversation, each meal. May the peace you invoked now accompany every step of this daily journey. If you wish someone to intercede with a prayer made especially for your story, remember the free link below in the description. And if you want to walk closer with others who pray, the prayer community is ready to welcome your heart with offering as your heart leads. May the blessing remain. May you feel the sustaining presence today and always. Amen.